I'm going to bring this one up now. The difference between a civil war. We're flying through these subjects. So I keep you interested. You should like this one. A civil war is an armed conflict occurring entirely within a single country between the established government and organised non-state factions competing for political control or independence. Conversely, a defensive war against invaders is an international interstate conflict where sovereign nations repel an external attack or occupation by another state, right? And the other state, basically, in what we're talking about, is Islam. So the key differences at a glance: a civil war, participants, internal factions fighting for government control or succession, right? Defensive war, distinct sovereign nations or allied coalitions, right? Now, currently, we've got a coalition with the United States of America. We could have a coalition with some of the European Union nations, namely Germany, because of what's happening with the invasion. Primary goal, civil war, overthrowing the state, political reform, or achieving autonomy. So if we was doing English independence full on, and then you've got defensive war, preserving territorial integrity, sovereignty, and national survival, which is what I believe England is now doing, right? Or we need to do. So it's a defensive war. It is not a civil war. Anyone who's talking civil war is lying, basically. Nature of the enemy. So under a civil war, it'd be fellow citizens, usurpers, or rebels from a shared cultural background, right? But in a defensive war, they're foreign forces, invaders, clearly defined external aggressors. Would you agree that the people that are being allowed to cross the channel, and I believe other elements are happening at the moment. So, for example, and people don't realise this, lots of flights are going into Southern Ireland, and lots of flights are going into Scotland, and the region of London. So each region currently is bringing in plane loads of these people, right? And they're being put up in various. That's why you're seeing the country being flooded. And what they're doing is they're going from Southern Ireland into Northern Ireland and crossing the St George's Channel, otherwise known as the Irish Sea, got renamed some time ago, which was, again, should never have happened, right? And they're flooding in that way. They're flying into both Glasgow, Edinburgh, Aberdeen, and other airports up there and coming over the border from Scotland, right? If you don't believe me, go and have a look at some of them trains, and then coming this way. And then you've got the flights going into London where these people, so everyone's being told, look at the English Channel, look at and these boats coming across. You're not seeing all of these other routes coming in, right? And these leave to remain situations that we've got going on, literally is all of these people getting off of planes and flights. So is everyone sort of got an indication there of what the key difference at a glance? So I'm going to say defensive war again, distinct sovereign nations or allied coalitions. America's already offered to give us assistance because it knows it's under attack, and so are we. England is under attack, right? Preserving territorial integrity and sovereignty and national survival, right? That's a defensive war, and we're actually going to be fighting against the enemy who have positioned themselves in positions of authority. And they've done that from via the British Nationality Act and removing part of our constitution that protected us from that, right? So you're seeing history repeat itself, which I think is pretty damning. And then the last one there is foreign forces. Invaders clearly defined external aggressors. Do you all agree? You can disagree if you want. Foreign forces, invaders, clearly defined external aggressors. Do you believe that they are clearly defined external aggressors? And anyone converting to Islam and assisting with it and assisting Islam are in effect collaborators. That's what's actually going on.
The English Constitution is the solution, always has been and always will be.